Just a second. I think I need to take that page, Śaraṇāgati. It's going to take a few minutes for me. I think, sorry.
Mataji, I was going to say, while you're away, what we're going to do is we're going to poetically call out longingly and missing you.
Oh, Angel, that's so sweet. That's very, very sweet. I'm going to miss all of you too. And look forward to connecting again.
Might we know what's taking you to India? Not a plane. What business you have there?
Oh, well, we have a pilgrimage. We have a big group. We have an international.
Oh.
You're welcome to join us too. Well, maybe it's a bit late now, but we have
I have a birthday in between there and some plans, but I'll stay seeing if there's any news to hear about this. I'm certain it'll be very lovely.
Yes. Yeah, where will we have news? Probably on, do you follow my Facebook page? Or maybe you don't use Facebook like a very sensible person.
I use Facebook like a sensible person for business, but not for idle chatter. I'd rather sit here and have idle chatter with you like this, which I'm certain people will say what you're doing, or you'll show up and be able to tell us.
Right. That's the best.
Yeah.
And Didi, Vishaka Didi, it's never too late for invitations to India on a pilgrimage. It's never too late.
Does that mean you're coming, Kanu Krishna?
I mean, maybe it's a little too late for me, but right now, too early. Yeah, next time.
I'll be there for 6 weeks, so there's plenty of time.
I'll have to ask my wife. She's my boss.
Or next year. But yeah, we have a beautiful pilgrimage planned. We have it's just something that's kind of been developing organically in the last few years, just just spontaneously people coming together, and especially persons who haven't been to India before, and I lived there for 10 years, so I have a little experience. So we'll be in Navadvip for 1 week, and then Puri for 1 week. We'll be based in Govardhan for 2 weeks. We'll also from there visit Vrindavan and other surrounding holy places, and we'll be spending 2 nights in Jaipur also. So that is the plan, and we have a very beautiful group. Many of our Zoom group will be there actually. Chintamani will be with us, and Ramadas, Evan, and Anandamai, our Japanese sister. We have a new Thai sister joining, and have a Hungarian group coming too. So it's going to be very, very, very beautiful. So we'll be thinking of all of you and look forward to sharing news. Okay, let's go to the Śaraṇāgati.
Okay, so I start from 16, yeah? Yeah. Okay.
That's right, Didi.
Okay. Atmanivedana tuya pade kari haino paramasuki dukkha dure gela chinta na rahila chaudike ananda dekhi. By surrendering myself at your feet, I have become supremely happy. All my distress has gone away and I have no more anxiety. I see ecstasy in all directions. So it's the commentary by Guru Maharaj here. Chaudike Ananda Dekhi. I see ecstasy in all directions. This state of surrender is described by Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 11th canto. Maya santushta manasaha sarva sukhamaya dishaha. All directions are filled with happiness for one whose heart is completely satisfied by me. Ashoka Abhaya Amrita Adara Tomara Charana Dvaya Tahate Ekana Vishramalabhiya Chadinu Bhavera Bhaya. Your feet are the abode of sorrowlessness, fearlessness, and immortality. Receiving shelter beneath them, I have abandoned all fear of material existence. Tomara samsare kariba sevana nahiba palera bhagi, tava sukhaya hai kariba yatana haye pade anuragi. I will render service in your household and will not become an enjoyer of the results. Lovingly attached to your feet, I will carefully endeavor for whatever pleases you. So this is a commentary by Guru Maharaj. Tomara samsare kariba sevana nahiba palera bhagi. I will render service in your household and will not become an enjoyer of the results. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita 247, Sri Krishna describes the soul's position. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma palaheturbur mate sangosva karmani. Your right is to engage in my service, not to enjoy the results. So engage in my service without being motivated by any desire to enjoy the results, and never become inclined to abandon my service. Tomara sevaya dukkahaya yata syota parama sukha seva sukha dukkha parama sampada nasaye avidya dukkha. All the distress I encounter in your service is also my greatest happiness. Both the distress and the happiness that come from engagement in your service are my greatest fortune. They both destroy the distress of ignorance. Seva sukha dukkha nashaye avidya dukkha. Both the distress and the happiness that come from engagement in your service destroy the distress of ignorance. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita 7:14, Sri Krishna explains that only those who unconditionally surrender unto him are liberated from Maya. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam evaye prabhadyante mam mayam etam tarantite. Purva itihasa bhulino sakala seva sukha peye mane amita tomara tumita amara ki kaja aparadhane. Feeling the happiness of your service in my heart, I have completely forgotten all past history. I am yours and you are mine. What need is there for any other wealth? Oh, sorry, I think I missed that. This little more of the commentary from the last verse anyway. Okay, I will go through that. There was a commentary in the last verse by Guru Maharaj for this phrase, Seva Sukha Dukkha Nasaye Avidya Dukkha. So he quoted this verse from Bhagavad Gita, Daivi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratteya mamevaye prabhadyante mayam etam tarantite. The translation is, my alluring trimoral Maya is insurmountable. Only those who surrender unto me can transcend Maya. This is a translator's note here. In Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Kanda 9-40, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur comments, Yatha deka Vaishnavera Vyavahara Dukkha Nishaya Janiha se Parananda Sukha. You should know for certain that a devotee's apparent distress is actually their ecstatic spiritual happiness. And from the 5th verse, Purva Itihasa, all past history. This refers to one's behavior prior to the beginning of their life as a devotee. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forbids his followers from continuing to behave like common people after taking up the practice of devotion. Gramya katha na sunibe, gramya varta na kahibe. Do not listen to mundane talks or speak of mundane news. Moreover, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita cites the absence of the tendency to discuss worldly subjects as a prominent attribute of a great devotee. Gramya vartha na sune na kahe jihvaya Krishna katha pujadite ashta prahara yaya. He never listens to mundane news and never speaks about it either. He passes every day engaged in discussion, worship, and other services to Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna describes to Uddhava the transformation of a surrendering soul. Martyo yada tyakta samasta karma niveditatma vichikeshito me tada mritatvam pratipadyamano mayatma bhuyaya cha kalpate vai. When a mortal being completely abandons all mundane endeavors, surrenders himself unto me, and acts according to my desires, he attains immortality and becomes fit to associate with me. I think we have one more verse here, 6th verse. The last one, Bhakti Vinoda Ananda Dubya Tomara Sevara Thare Sabha Cheshta Kare Tava Icha Mata Takiya Tomara Kare. Diving in the ecstasy of your service, Bhakti Vinod performs all his endeavors in accordance with your will, residing within your home.
Wow, what a beautiful song. As we mentioned last week, this song is like describing the upside. Many of our songs are describing the downside, the distress, the anarthas, the challenges, right? This is describing the joy, right? The happiness that is experienced. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, his book on this subject is Prapana Jivanamrita, right? Means the nectar in the life of a surrendered soul. There's a special type of amrita, there's a special type of nectar that is tasted by those who are prapana, by those who are surrendered. And that is something of that is being described in this verse. Angel's asking for a link for the song. This song, I mean, I'm sorry to say, but if you just Google it, you'll find it. KK songs is very helpful, but we can also share a PDF. I can share in our chat here. For those who don't have a copy, I definitely recommend. I'll share a link in our chat for a PDF that you can download this book. Would anyone, Suvasanti, would you like to start? Would you like to share some comments on this beautiful song?
Not really. Don't have much comments. It's beautiful, actually. The first verse itself is, I see ecstasy in all directions. This is a very beautiful way to see it. It's like also reminded of this Prabodhananda Saraswati, right? This song, Kaivalyam narakayate, tridasha purakasa pushpayate. That song, it's like, he also says, what's that next line?
We were just discussing that song, yeah.
Yeah, we were discussing that, yeah.
Idasa Prakasha Pushpayate. Dordan Jia Kala Sarpi, the Sarpa, the senses are like, it's a very beautiful verse by Prabodhananda. It's describing the effects of in someone who has received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Liberation, because that joy, that fulfillment is so great that everything else looks so insignificant by comparison. So liberation looks like hell. Just impersonal liberation, because there's no connection with Krishna there. You're just entering the void, right? Then the heaven looks like some imaginary flower in the sky. The senses, which normally give us so much trouble, are compared to defanged poisonous serpents. Like, they have no power over us anymore. The great devas, they look like insects. And then that verse, Vishram Purna Sukhayat.
Yeah, that's what I.
Mode of joy. Yeah, beautiful verse.
Vishram Purna Sukhayat. So.
What really hit me was how you're in the process of doing the thing, not where are you going, not where have you been, but it's the active service that you get lost in this, what you're talking about. You know, part of it is so big, it's overwhelming that you can't, like, how people constantly, what is your 5-year plan? Where are you going? What's your goal? They're very goal oriented. This is not that. This is just you're you know how to do the activity, and so you're going about doing it, and it'll take you somewhere that's better than whatever that goal is that you could have thought about. That's what really took me away, because I get very caught up, or people around me get me very caught up in this goal-oriented thinking.
It's a very deep point that you brought up there. That is what this song is describing. It's an eternal now, actually. And as you're saying, it's not about the goal. The goal is to enter this eternal now of constant, fresh surrender, right? It's not about a particular result. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he described this in a very nice way, this point. He said that, like, sometimes we'll think of Śaraṇāgati as the means and the goal is, relationship with Krishna or divine love. But he said, actually, Śaraṇāgati is the goal. And he said, as much as you are surrendering, so much you already have. He said it is like the difference between cash in hand and a post-dated check, like as much as you're entering into this, so much you already have. You're already achieving the goal. And he also made this comment, why worry about the result when the process is so nice? And it's also mentioned, right, that, we hear about Srimad Mahaprabhu speaks about these 3 aspects of our siddhanta practice, right? Sambandha, abhideya, prayojam, right? And conventionally, we'll speak of like this, like sambandha means understanding what is the real nature of things. Abhideya means the path, the process, and prayojan means the goal. But it's also mentioned by our gurus that ultimately the abhideya and the prayojam will merge into one. The practice and the goal will ultimately become one, right? It's not that you're going to do something different, but it's the realization in your heart and the joy that's coming in your heart. You're actually connecting in a conscious way, more and more. So ultimately it becomes one, the practice and the goal. it's a very deep point, and it's a very healthy point to remind ourselves, right? It's actually a very material way of thinking, right? I'll do this and this and I'll get that, right? That's actually kind of like making ourselves the controller, you know?
And it's so hard for me. I wasn't raised, I was raised Christian. I wasn't raised with this goal concept necessarily. I was raised in like in this moment concept, another spiritual
Mm.
tradition that does this, right? So people ask me, "What's your goal?"
Uh-huh.
But what I know is I'm very compulsed to make plant medicines and talk to people about plant medicines and to work with plants and to have that type of, and I'll sit there and I'll say prayers over them and I'll get like very specific into what this person needs, and it's like I don't I don't know where I'm going, but I know that I'm called to do that work.
Beautiful.
It becomes very material, yeah.
Hmm. You know, sometimes this concept of surrender is actually everything. Like we're actually learning the art of Sharanagati. Like surrender is everything for us. But it's also, for persons who are connecting with this, you know, like without any prior understanding, prior experience, it can be kind of, coming from the world of, that's the main point, right? We're coming from a world of exploitation. So when you tell people, oh, the goal of our life is to surrender, right? This unknown being, like not some people, they kind of coil up, there's some resistance, right? So sometimes I'll feel a little uncomfortable or awkward, like bringing up the topic, like in talks and like for new people, right? And but this one time when I was in Australia a few years ago, there we had this like public talk, and somehow the topic came up, and I was feeling a little hesitant to get into it, but I mentioned something about it, and there was this one girl in the audience, and it resonated with her so much, and she made this one comment at the end that made me like see a totally different way in which this could be framed. That the way it hit her was surrender is a relief. Like in this goal, like you're saying, like in this goal orientated society that we live in, there's so much pressure, like to be number one, to be the best, to be at the top, to climb the career ladder or the social ladder or whatever. But it's like this concept of surrender was giving you permission to just like
Be,
relax, take
go,
shelter,
do.
you know and that I appreciate it so much because it just gave this different angle, with which one could explain it, right? It's like an antidote to this like competitive culture, competitive goal orientated culture, right? It's an antidote to that, and there's this beautiful relief, like, oh Lord, it's up to you, it's in your hands, right? I'm doing my part in this moment, and I'm focusing on that. Like that's the goal, like offering myself to you in this moment. What happens after that is up to you. That's your jurisdiction. What a relief, what a relief.
Thank you. Thank you. This is something I've been struggling with actually. And so it's not so much struggling with the concept, it's struggling with the words to explain it to someone
Mm.
outside of myself. So hearing you talk and seeing the words, now I have something to remember to maybe pass these things along. Thank you.
You know what? Another thing is that, so many people in this world, they achieve so many great things, but they're ultimately of temporary value, right? And we are trying to make progress in the world of eternity, right? And I recently on my YouTube, I keep getting all these like ads for this mind. Some of you may have heard of this Mind Valley guy, and it's actually he's like a kind of yogi, But he's turned it into a business, like manipulating the plane of consciousness. He's an Indian guy. He's like manipulating it's like, involving the law of attraction and all these different things. And he's worked out how to kind of like monetize this whole thing and help other people monetize it too, right? Okay, Angel, thanks for joining and thanks for your beautiful shares. And and he's like helping people. He's like become hugely successful, and he's helping people like become hugely successful themselves in the world and in different spheres, right? Through this like all these different methods, manipulating the plane of consciousness and but like, what is the standard of your success, right? And how long is that lasting? And like, it's actually playing a dangerous game. And I'm listening to this guy, and it's like, okay, you have some brilliance, you're connecting with this plane of power, but like, actually, this whole life is leaving. It's like passing in the flash, in the blink of an eye. So many people, they have these goals and they're becoming successful in different ways, but then you die, right? Like, have you like been able to solve that problem, right? Like, literally, life is. I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 this year. I still feel like a kid. Like, life is moving. So like, we really need this is what these like materially goal-oriented people, that's what they're forgetting. Okay, we may look like we're not the most, materially speaking, not the most successful or whatever, but I'm making progress. I'm taking baby steps in the plane of the eternal world, right? You're taking giant steps in the temporary mortal realm, right? But this is what these people are. They're forgetting what is the bigger picture. People can become so successful in so many ways, but ultimately they're missing the main point, the foundation. There's no real foundation, right? So, we have our goals too. We have our goals too, and they are of eternal value and eternal significance. Right? We are looking at the zoomed out picture, right? And you're doing some manipulation with energy that doesn't belong to you. It's all borrowed. That's another thing. It's all borrowed energy. That's the thing. It's all borrowed energy. It's a dangerous game. You're seeing things through a very short-sighted lens. We're fortunate, by the grace of our gurus, we have some little vision and we've been blessed to have a little clarity. That's been grace, actually. That is our good fortune. We can't blame them for not having that grace. Anyway. Well, what a beautiful song. So yeah, Prapana Jivanamrita, the joy in the life of a surrender. There's a special type of joy that comes in the heart of a surrendered soul. And this, could you move down, Didi, to the next page? Yeah, so Ashok, Abhay, Amritada, Tomara, Charana, Dwai. So these are, there's some significance in these expressions, Ashok. And you actually find these in different places in the scriptures and expressions of our gurus. You'll hear, like, these are specifically mentioned. It's approaching the Lord. That is a place that means to become free from lamentation, become free from fear, and of course, free from mortality. So there's some significance here, right? Why? Because this is also Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita mentions that, right? Brahma Bhuta Prasanatmana Shochati na Kankshati. This Shochati, this shok, lamentation. Here it's put as sorrowlessness, Ashok, free from sorrow, free from lamentation. Because when we are, why? So what is the significance of this? When we are attached to mortal things, when we are attached to temporary things, then then again, right, that's the seeing the short, that's a short view of things, right? That's not seeing the bigger picture. That's a very zoomed and narrow view of reality, because that's all going to end. So you're just setting yourself up. When you become attached, when we become attached to temporary mortal things, we're just setting ourselves up for disappointment, right? But when we're approaching the Lord, on the contrary, we're approaching that which is of eternal value. So we will be free from any sorrow, lamentation. That is an eternal relationship and an eternal fulfillment, eternal joy. And then aboy, fearlessness. Why? Because when we're connected with the Lord, we're living in guardian consciousness, as Srila Sridhar Maharaj explains. We're living in the consciousness that our guardian is there's an overseer there. And we are not living as one independent entity at odds with the environment, clashing with so many other entities. Because when we're living like that, we're necessarily in a state of fear. We were threatened. Oh, everyone's out to get me, right? I got to watch out for number one, right? We've got this like unconscious fear that, oh, people are against me and I have to like stick up for myself. I have to press my own. And sometimes, unfortunately, we just have to do that to achieve things in this world, right? To be practical. But we don't want that to be a complex, right? So normally there's this inherent fear that we all have, right? That the environment is against me. But when we live in that consciousness of our guardian, then we're naturally free because we see, right, Bhoktaram, Yagya Tapasam, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Suhridam, Sarva Bhutanam. The Lord's in control. The Lord is behind everything, and he is friendly to me also. So there's no need to be fearful. And then Amrita. Amrita, of course, has this double meaning of immortality and also nectar. Right? It is a plane that is free from death, free from limitation, and also full of nectar. And in this regard, I always remember, when I hear this line, I always remember Suvasinji, of course, and others may remember this story. It was a godbrother of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Actually, probably the dearest. He's not so well known, but my impression is like the closest and dearest godbrother of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Swami Maharaj perhaps second to him. Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Maharaj. He was the youngest sannyasi and last sannyasi of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very great Vaishnava. Our Gurudev wrote some pranam mantras and praise of him. But so he was the last sannyasi of Saraswati Thakur, requested personally by Saraswati Thakur to take sannyasi. He was particularly known for his pure heart, not necessarily being the greatest scholar, as Srila Sridhar Maharaj was, but he had a very pure heart. And Gurudev mentioned once, he had many disciples who were very scholarly, but he himself was not so scholarly because they were attracted by his purity of heart. And to demonstrate that, there was one occasion, and I believe it was the last Kartik. So it was Srila Saraswati Thakur's last Kartik in this world. This would have been like October 1936 in Puri. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur personally called. He was staying in another part of the country, in another temple, another mat, and Saraswati Thakur personally called him to come and stay with him in the month of Kartik in Puri. And he had a very beautiful singing voice, and he wanted him to sing these particularly high songs about the Radha Krishna Leela, and songs which I believe we don't normally sing. And it's like a testament to the pure heart of this Jajavar Maharaj. Saraswati Thakur personally requested him to sing these songs every day during that month of Kartik. He wanted him to sing. And this was shortly before Saraswati Thakur left the world. And actually, our Gurudev mentioned Srila Govinda Maharaj. he meant, and our Gurudev was growing up as a young man, right, around Srila Maharaj and all his associates who were visiting at times. And at one time, Jajjava Maharaj was staying at our mat in Navadvip during the month of Kartik. And our Gurudev noticed that sometimes he would be kind of sitting quietly by himself and singing these songs very softly to himself, these very high songs. And our Gurudev asked him about it once, like, we don't normally sing those songs, and how is it that you're singing them? And Jajjava Maharaj explained and told him, oh, Prabhupada asked me personally. It was the service he asked me to do for him, and so I'm remembering that, Very, very pure, great soul. Madhusudan Maharaj, I would like to ask him the details again. He happened to be present when Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Jajjava Maharaj had their very last meeting in this world. And as I recall, it was, there's, for those of you who've been to our mat, there's this bridge. It's connecting from Srila Sridhar Maharaj's veranda to the Nat Mandir. Was it there? Maybe it wasn't there. But Madhusudan Maharaj happened to be present, like little distance away, and they had this. He said it was almost like they knew it was going to be their last meeting. Jajjava Maharaj passed away. He was younger, but he passed away before Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And they had this very intense meeting where they gave their obeisance to each other, they garlanded one another, they embraced, and it was their last meeting. Very, very intense moment. But the story that I wanted to tell. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati personally requested Jajjava Maharaj to take sannyas. And Jajjava Maharaj was going to honor that, right, in service to his Guru Maharaj, to fulfill his desire. But then some of his relatives, they were a little concerned. In India, it's not the custom for someone in their youth to take sannyas, right? According to the Varnashrama system. It's like in your older age, after you've had family and everything. But Saraswati Thakur's movement is revolutionary. And so, so Swami Maharaj and Swami Maharaj, our Gurudev, they've continued with that, encouraging young persons to, take the revolutionary path, Sarvadharman Prityaja, right? But so Jajjava Maharaj, he was fairly young, maybe around 29, and he was very beautiful. And so some of his relatives, they put some doubts in him. Oh, how are you going to be able to maintain sannyas life? You're so young and beautiful. And so Jajjava Maharaj began to feel some anxiety about this, some fearfulness about this. And this was conveyed to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that he had some doubts. And so he called for him. And Srila Saraswati Thakur said to Jajjava Maharaj, what was his name? I can't remember. He said to him, how is it that you are fearful about this? He said, you are going to take shelter of the fearless lotus feet of the Lord. Abide Charanara Vinda. This is actually the name of Bhakti, of Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Abide Charanara Vinda, right? Means the fearless lotus feet of the Lord. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he expressed that line, like, you're going to take shelter, abide Charanara Vinda, the place where there's no fear. You're going to take shelter of that place where fear doesn't exist. So how is it that you're fearful? It doesn't make any sense. If you're truly taking shelter there, then there's no question of fear. You're handing yourself, putting yourself in the care of the Lord, right? And Jajjava Maharaj, he embraced that, and he took sannyas, and he perfectly followed his sannyas his whole life. So I remember that pastime when I sing this line, that this is the nature of the Lord's feet. This is a place where there's no fear. There's this one line our Gurudev quoted. Maybe it's in Bhagavatam. I can't remember. It's a very cool line, but it's describing the Lord as he whom death is afraid of. Oh no, he whom fear is afraid of. That's right. He whom fear itself fears. That is the nature of the Lord. Fear fears him. So if we are taking shelter of his lotus feet, there's no need for fear. It is a plane that is absent from any fear. And whatever, it's an infallible position to be in, right? Because whatever wave is coming, we're seeing it's a positive wave. It has all been sanctioned by my guardian, my loving guardian. So what need is there for any fear? What need for apprehension? There's this confidence, right, that will come in the heart of the surrendered soul. Nothing can move. Nothing can shake, right, the surrender. Whatever comes, it is good. It is all good. My guardian is approving everything, and my guardian loves me. So it's all good. It's a very, very powerful place to be. Tahate ekana vishrama lobhya charino bhave. Vishram, rest. The translation doesn't quite convey. The word for word does, but Vishram, it's used now very commonly in Bengal. Vishram, resting. I have a place to take, like we were mentioning, we were discussing earlier with Angel, right? Relief. I can relax. I can take rest here. I've come to some true shelter. It is home, right? Srila Maharaj uses that expression, home, sweet home, home, where everyone cares for me more than I could ever care for myself. I don't have to think about my own needs. I can relax. I'm being cared for. Tomara samsare koribo nahibo faladebadi. It's very, very beautiful in describing here this mood of the surrender. So I will serve you nahibo faladebadi. And this is one of the keys, not desiring the fruits. But I'm only endeavoring for your satisfaction. Tava sukha jahe. I'm endeavoring for your joy, your happiness, your satisfaction. I'm not looking for any cut for myself. Right? Then actually you get more of a cut. If you can embrace that mood. Can you scroll down, Suvasini Didi? Now this is like this is the money line here. This is the verse that often gets quoted by our gurus. Oh, Gangalila. Yes, very, very beautiful. This is such a profound song. Very profound song. This verse is often quoted. It's a revolutionary way of thinking. That everything in connection with you and your service, it is all my wealth. It is all my joy. Even the duk, it's very sweet, the Bengali, duk and suk. Duk is sorrow, suk is happiness. Right? So in your service, right, in connection with you, everything is meaningful, everything is joyful. So even the unhappiness, the trouble I encounter in your service, that is not just my suk, but my param suk. Right? It is not just my happiness, it is my supreme happiness. And then it compounds further here, this point. Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada. Why is this so joyful? Nashe avidya duk. Both the happiness and both the sorrow, they are both my supreme sampad, my supreme wealth. Nashe avidya duk. Because why? Because they both destroy the duk of avidya. They both destroy. What is real sorrow? Now there's so much profundity here, actually. What is real duk? What is real sorrow? What is real suffering? Ignorance, avidya. Real suffering is ignorance, not what is experienced in this temporary mind and body. That is a passing thing of our own creation. Temporary plane, action and reaction, coming and going. But real suffering, and that's not even who we are, right? But these are all material layers. We're just in some confused condition, identifying with this flesh and blood and mind and ego. That's not even who we are. So it is an illusion in that sense. So the happiness and the sorrow, they're both my supreme wealth. because they're both destroying what is the real suffering of ignorance, right? Misconception, illusion. So they're both so there's so much joy. And, and this is, we can also draw an interesting like connection here. We can, it's very interesting making these connections with let's say like Brahma Gyan and Bhakti. There are like these interesting transition points, right? From Brahma Gyan meaning like impersonal realization of the absolute, and then Bhakti, right? So in general generic religious spiritual cultivation, then there is like Bhagavad Gita, there's this equanimity that is being encouraged to become free from both happiness and sorrow, to live in this state of even state. We were just chanting that verse, I think last Thursday in our Gita meeting, right? That very nice verse, right? What is that? Maybe you remember, Jaya. Suvasini must know that verse. It's so beautiful. Jaya.
No, but I was laughing because you were doing Abhaya Mudra while you were talking. You know this Abhaya Mudra that the deities do? That means Abhaya.
Oh, really?
You're like talking and you're doing Abhaya Mudra.
That's funny. This is a Abhaya Mudra, huh? That's funny.
That's why you see like deities of, Vishnu or Lakshmi, they're doing that. That means fear not. You're in my shelter. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Were you saying, Suvasini, the verse?
Sukha dukkhe same kritva labho labho jaya jayo. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Remain even. See it all as equal. See it all as the same. Right. The happiness, the sukh, the dukh, the gain, the loss, the jai, the ajai, the victory, the defeat. This is like one level of understanding, right? Like becoming detached from the duality of this plane. But then in the bhakti conception, there's an upgrade, right? No, let's embrace the sukh. Let's embrace the dukh when it's in connection with Krishna, right? This is why, it can be helpful to have like a stage by stage development. And that's how Bhagavad Gita's helped out. You don't have to, you can take the shortcut. But it can be helpful to go step by step, at least in our understanding in this sequential way it's being presented, right? So first, like learn to become detached from your own, sukh and dukh, but then connect that with Krishna. In connection with Krishna, it's all meaningful. And ultimately we'll be concerned with Krishna's sukh and Krishna's dukh, and how to serve him and please him and make him sukhi, make him happy. So it's very interesting making these like comparisons. And of course we're reminded of Ishwar, not Ishwar Puri, Madhavendra Puri, Ramachandra Puri, right? Madhavendra Puri, he's the grand guru, the Param Guru of so-called Param Guru of Mahaprabhu. Actually, he's the Jagat Guru, right? We don't want to get in trouble with the Chitananda. But so he can understand his guru, right? Madhavendra Puri is this exalted Vaishnava within whose heart this Vrindavan mood of devotion has awakened. He's known as the Premankur, the sprout of Mahaprabhu's line in this world. And in his last days, he's chanting this verse, right? Expressing this heartbreak of Radharani. It is Radharani's expression, expressing this heartbreak in separation from Krishna. It's a very high, divine, elevated sentiment, the highest sentiment. But his foolish disciple can't understand this, and he's bringing out this generic Bhagavad Gita conception, no offense. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatmana Shochati Nakanshati. One who's enlightened, they don't suffer and they don't feel sorrow. Or, why, Gurudev, what's your problem? He doesn't understand. He's on this very generic, basic level of understanding of what spirituality is. He can't understand. Madhavendra Puri's other disciple, Ishvara Puri, he can understand. And it is he who performs the function of acting as guru for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is a much finer, higher conception where, again, duality is embraced. Now the rules have changed again. What you were told yesterday is no longer relevant. Right. Yesterday you were told to be detached. Today you're being told be attached to Krishna, to Krishna's satisfaction, to Krishna's service. Be detached from your own ego, right? Be detached from your own loss and gain, but be attached to pleasing Krishna, to serving Krishna, to progressing towards Krishna. So it's very interesting. And we have to be aware, right, of how, there are all these different instructions that are coming within different contexts and different stages of understanding. Right? And maybe we can go down. I know we're going over time here. We'll finish going through this song. And welcome. I think I saw Chintamani come in. I think she's in Thailand. Welcome, Chintamani. Now this I love. I mean, this song is so deep. Now this is, how profound is this? I've forgotten all past history. Because normally we're keeping a record book, right? Oh, and Axel also joined us. Welcome, Axel. Normally we're keeping a record book, right? Everything that happened and how I've been wronged in so many ways and so on and so forth. Right? But in the joy of service to you, I've forgotten everything else. I've forgotten everything else. Right? In the joy of service to you, I'm burning the record book. Burning the record book. No need. And this is also going back to what you're discussing in the beginning, right? The eternal now. Like, I feel a little silly saying that because it's kind of like a pop psychology type thing, but it actually is true. They got something there. When you're living in the eternal now, right, then all these old stories, they don't matter anymore. How is that relevant? Whatever happens in the past is only relevant according to how much it is, a part of my progressive movement today, right? Otherwise, burn it, forget it. And this is the divine mood, right? This is the divine mood. Like I think I mentioned recently, one of our devotees told me she was upset about some things some devotees had done, and she told our Gurudev, and our Gurudev responded saying, just forget it. I was like, she was completely shocked. Just forget it. Today's a new day. Let's give them a chance to become, the better them. Let them be better. Let's leave space. Let's leave some optimistic space for them to not be what they were yesterday and be someone else today. Let's just not believe what happened yesterday. No, that didn't really happen. No, you didn't really say that. No, you're so much more than that. So there's this freedom. Actually, the surrendered souls, they live in this freedom. They don't need to hold on to grudges. They don't need to hold on to the yesterdays and what he said and she did and how I was wronged. Why? Because they're seva sukha peye mane. they're feeling such joy. They don't need to hold on to that. They don't need to hold on to all that crap, right? I've got so much joy. I've got nectar on my plate in front of me. Why do I want to go and dissect the SHIT from yesterday? I've got nectar in front of me right now. Why do I want to waste my time? That's what it comes down to. Right? That's what it comes down to. Why waste our time? There's so much joy. There's such a big, beautiful world there. Why do we want to waste our time with the history? Right? Let's move forward. Let's embrace the beauty. And let's also be non-envious enough to let others also embrace the beauty. Because sometimes there can be this mood, like we're envious, so we don't want others to get the mercy, right? Oh no, you gotta go to, you need to be tried, you need to go to prison for everything that you did. You need to suffer for what you did. You don't deserve any mercy, we've had so much drama this week, and just we had the drama with the book, and then we had a drama with one of the couples in our group coming to India broke up like 2 days ago. And then one of the couple, he says he's going to cancel the ticket of his girlfriend because she did wrong and she doesn't deserve to come, and he can't stand to look at her. And, I probably shouldn't say all this, but I'm not saying names, but I actually had to deal with this 2 days ago, and then I'm on the phone, and then but he had this mood like she did wrong, she doesn't deserve to go, I said, but I felt so bad about it. I'm like, because I felt like he's actually not, he's doing a disservice to himself. If you want to cut someone off for mercy, you're cutting yourself off, actually. If we connect people with Krishna consciousness, we gain. But if we try and disconnect people, we lose. So then the next day I sent him a message, like telling him, like, I'm worried you're gonna regret this. And he was fortunately he was able to change his heart. He didn't cancel her ticket because he had it all in his name, so he could cancel her ticket. And he had a change of heart, and he said he realized, everyone deserves mercy. We have to give mercy to everyone, because that can be a real issue, right? That people have to pay for what they did. That's the plane of justice, right? We want to live in the zone of mercy. We want to receive mercy, but we also have to give mercy to others, right? There's actually a talk of Srila Sridhar Maharaj where he's talking about this, and he says, he's talking about this point of how we can want to restrict others' access to mercy. And you know what he says? Sometimes he comes out with these really striking expressions. He said, it was this many years ago I heard it, and I always remember. He said, if someone has that mood, he said, their name will be struck from the book. That's what he said. Of the book of Śaraṇāgati, they cannot be counted there. Their name will be struck from the book. He said it like that, in that language. If we have, it's like a miserly type of mood, very miserly. So a part of that is being able to let go, bulino, forget. Purvi itihas bulino saka. Let it go, forget. It's a new day, it's a new moment. Let's believe in one another. Let's give each other a chance. Let's give everyone free access to the mercy. One thing I'll just share. Didi, could you maybe stop the screen share? I think we're. And I just want to share this one story, one experience I had with our Guru Dev, and it was in Kolkata, and there was one devotee who I had like a close friendship with, and then at a certain point things got a little weird, and she became envious of me actually, and because I was getting so much service and little prominence, and she was a little envious, and she ended up becoming quite nasty to me, and this was in Kolkata. And in Kolkata, in the older building where we used to stay, the ladies' quarters, they're directly above our Gurudev's. And you know, I mean, Gurudev, it was very clear on many occasions, he was fully omniscient, like he knew everything that was going on. And especially the fact that, you know, the rooms are directly above, and actually the room we were staying is directly above our Gurudev's room. But then there was this one occasion, our Gurudev, he used to go out every afternoon, pretty much every afternoon. He had different things to attend to in Kolkata for the missionary duties. And this lady, it was, you know, and I had this really terrible like week or a couple of weeks where we're still sharing a room, and she was like very nasty to me. And then finally it's time for her to leave, and she's going back to her country, which was a big relief for me. And she was leaving. She had to leave to catch her flight, but she wanted to see our Gurudev, right? And she's waiting. Our Gurudev's out for his afternoon duties, and our Gurudev hasn't come back. And finally she's like, oh, I'll just have to go. You know, just heartbreaking to leave without saying goodbye. And so she, you know, and our Dum Park, Kolkata temple, you know, the main entrance exit is like here. And when our Gurudev, there was like a kind of a garage area on like another side, and they're not, you know, they're not connected, right? So it so happened that she's leaving, getting into the taxi, and our Gurudev pulled up at the same time into his garage area. And I was kind of like, I was returning from like seeing her off in her car, and I saw her Gurudev's come back, and so I ran, and I told her, oh, you know, Gurudev's back. I was able to catch, and she came, and so she came back, and she was able to meet with Gurudev and say goodbye just there, like in the outside temple space. And she had to run to catch her flight, and then later on that evening, I went in to just give respects to Gurudev, the end of the day, and of course this is my subjective experience, but he gave me this profound look, and like what I felt from him in my heart was like he appreciated that I made that effort to like support her and help her, like even though she'd been quite nasty to me, but that he gave me such a profound look of affection and appreciation, like very pointedly, which he, you know, Gurudev wouldn't do very often. I can count on the fingers of one hand the number of times I experienced that, but it was I had this transmission in my heart, like, yes, this is the real non-envious mood. You know, we will try to do good for everyone, even if someone's doing wrong for us. And we will gain. This is the thing, right? We will gain if we can live like that. We will gain. We will gain. The more that we can connect with infinity and share infinity, the more we will receive, the more will be opened up, the more will be unlocked for us, right? Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your good company, your friendship. Please give your blessings for our pilgrimage to India, and I look forward to meeting again, connecting again.
Thank you, Shaka. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And we hope everything goes so well with your pilgrimage and everything, with all the devotees. Good wishes to everyone. Yes.
Thank you very much for today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vishaka Didi. So amazing to hear the personal story also relating to these big matters. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, nice, beautiful story. Nice. Best
Thank you
wishes
so much,
and
Vishaka Didi.
obeisances.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Best wishes and obeisances from me and Kirtida Didi Vishaka.
Oh, please give our love to Kirtida. We've missed her this week. Thank you all so much for everything.
you.
And
Thank you so much.
Vishaka Maharaja ki
Jai,
jai.
Jai, Jai,
Jai.
Jai.
You'll be here tomorrow?
Thank you so much, Suhasini Didi. Thank you, everybody.